Your votes have been counted and verified, and we're about to reveal which of our quarterfinalists will be going to the semi-finals and which ones will be going home. Are you ready for the results? Roll those titles! Afternoon evening everybody, my name is Jamie Dew and welcome back to a brand new video where this time around we are turning our attention back towards the Eurovision Knockout 2025 tournament once again, and it's of course been a fairly tight affair, especially in one of them, but you guys have been voting fluently and brilliantly and all the rest of it in your thousands, well hundreds at least again. But of course we've had 4 sets of quarterfinals to go through, and it's now time to decide which of those particular quarterfinalists will be going to the semi-finals and who will be bowing out. But before I dive into that, I would of course encourage you guys as always to subscribe to my Eurovision YouTube channel, because I've reacted to all 37 participating countries. I've got another video coming out very soon in regards to my predictions for this year's particular competition, and of course every single one of you are absolutely awesome, and I'm sure if you're new to this channel, thank you ever so much for getting subscribed. But yes, please do if you haven't already. Thank you very much. Otherwise, without any further ado, it is now time to delve into the quarterfinal results for Eurovision Knockout 2025. So let's get that old logo up again there. The Eurovision Knockout 2025 is about to begin for the quarterfinal stages. A quick reminder of the quarterfinal bracket in question, and it saw Germany versus Malta, which we'll come to first. I've got some hair on my microphone, lovely. Austria versus Finland, Australia versus Norway, and Greece versus Sweden were the 4 quarterfinalists. Now let's dive into each and every single one of the results and see how they got on. So first off is Germany versus Malta. Will we be barrelling or will we be serving into the semi-finals? A quick reminder that Germany got through to the quarterfinal stages by topping their group with Estonia, Serbia and Portugal making up the rest of it, as well as beating San Marino in the round of 16 by a clear 54% to 46%. So at the moment Germany sort of certainly looked good, although that being said, it was a lot closer than expected against San Marino in the round of 16. Whereas with Malta, they also topped their group at a slightly reduced amount rate of 35%, because of course Albania is also a bit of a fan favourite. They got second with 31%, also beating out the UK and Lithuania in the process. And in the round of 16, they also beat out Iceland by performing what was it again? Yeah, but you know what I mean. That vibey song. Roa, that's it. By a fairly close amount of 56 to 44%. But after all is said and done, which of these two will be going to the semi-finals? Well, without further ado, I can tell you that winning the semi-final with 65% of the vote. So fairly clear. It was Malta is the winner of this quarterfinal and will serve into the semi-final. Mariana Conte will probably be very pleased with that if she could watch this right now, meaning 35% went to Germany. It's yeah, unfortunately the Germans just weren't up to it on this occasion. They just could not beat out the cunt, basically, as far as this is concerned. But yeah, Baller, I think, did fairly well, actually, on this occasion. It seems to be a bit of a fan favourite, but they bow out on the quarterfinals on this occasion. And now we move over to the next quarterfinal, and this, for me, is a doozy. It was a tasty one. I knew it was going to be tasty. One of the fan favourites, Austria. Well, I say fan favourite. A lot of people think it's more of a jury bait one, but I think a lot of the fans do tend to like this, mainly because of last year. But Austria with JJ and Wasted Love versus Ik Komme for Erika Wickman for Finland. And trust me when I say this was tight, it was tight. Quick reminder that Austria, of course, blitzed their particular group over Latvia, Switzerland and Cyprus with a cool 43% of the vote, topping the group no problem. And Finland also topped their particular group, but even more astoundingly with 60% of the vote, beating out France, who were eliminated because they got one of the lowest percentages, over the Netherlands as well, and Armenia, who were also eliminated from the competition. But it was a storming performance from Finland, it has to be said. And in their respective round of 16 matches, Austria, I say matches, rounds, you know what I mean, Austria well, literally thrashed Italy with 75% of their respective votes over 25%. It was a blitz for wasted love. And the same could virtually almost be said for Finland, although it was a bit tighter against Skoda Electronic and Zem for Albania, 60-40. It was, you know, again, a lot of people tend to like Albania this year, but it just wasn't quite to be for Albania. But Finland do deserve to be in the quarterfinals, that's for sure. But who prevailed out of this quarterfinal and will be facing Malta in the semi-finals? Well, without further ado, again, winning with a very tight 52% of the vote, Brexit vote if you ask me, as far as this is concerned, if you know what that is. And winning this very tight vote, I should point out, this changed about 3 or 4 times throughout it. But winning this quarterfinal is Austria. JJ won it by the slimmest of margins in this quarterfinal, 52-48. As I said, a Brexit vote, but Erika Wickman bows out at the quarterfinal stages. I should point out, this was the same percentage with it virtually at the start, but Erika Wickman was winning it. Then all of a sudden the Austrian vote then all of a sudden gained momentum. It kept chopping and changing. This was so tight, it was ridiculous. But nevertheless, Austria progressed to the semi-finals to face Malta. Congratulations go to JJ. Moving on to the third quarterfinal, and this is featuring Australia with Gojo and Milkshake Man versus Norway. For Carl Alessandra and Leiter. Now, this one, I think, was a bit of a... Well, I thought it was going to be fairly close, in my opinion. But let's have another quick reminder on how they got here. A quick reminder that Australia got here with a fairly healthy 38% of the vote over Italy, as well as Belgium with Strobe Lights and Azerbaijan with Run With You. It has to be said, credit due to Azerbaijan. They still got some decent amount of votes, but Australia were there nevertheless fairly comfortably, has to be said, going through to the round of 16, where they faced Estonia with Espresso Macchiato, Battle of the Drinks as some called this, including myself, now you just mentioned it, and Australia just trounced Tommy Cash on that particular occasion, 71-29, which could bode well for the quarterfinals. For Norway, it was also a fairly comfortable top of the group from Group F with 41%, beating out Poland, Spain and Luxembourg, who were both fairly close in the 18% margins, but it is what it is with that one. But Norway was comfortable, where they faced Tautomētas of Latvia, but again, like Australia, it was fairly comfortable, 70-30 on this occasion. 1% difference if you think about it. But who progressed on this particular occasion? Will we be having a bit of milkshake, or will we be lighting a lighter to the semi-finals? Well, I can tell you, without further ado, that winning this quarterfinal with 61% of the votes. It was fairly high for them, but winning this quarterfinal is Norway! It's lighter that progresses to the semi-finals to 39% of the vote. I'd say that was relatively comfortable for Carl Alessandra, and he will be progressing to the semi-finals, so congratulations to him. But Gojo will be bowing out with his milkshake all the way back to Australia, I guess. And that leads us neatly to the final quarter-final of Greece versus Sweden. Asteroamata by Klavdinia for Greece versus Barabarabastu by Kai for the Swedes. Which one will be progressing to the semi-finals for this particular occasion? Again, here's a quick reminder of how they got here. For Greece, it was also a fairly another comfortable top of the table with 43, top of the group even for that matter, for 43% over Iceland with 27, Ukraine with 21, and Croatia. They were one of the favourites last year. How far they've fallen, I guess, with 9%, but Greece were very comfortable. Where it was a battle of the solo females with Greece and Poland they faced in the round of 16, but beat out Gaia with 58% to 42%. So no Gaia in, it was Asteroamata to the quarters for that one. But for the Swedes, it was a blitz and a half, 63% to 16-12 to 9 over Israel, Ireland and Montenegro. It was a domination in regards to that. Like, that was just ridiculous. Although it wasn't quite as comfortable against Czechia. I know the numbers look fairly about out of it, but if you think about it, going from 60% to 65% against 3-1 country, it's not that big of a difference, but they were nevertheless fairly comfortable going through to the quarterfinals over Czechia for Kiss Kiss Goodbye by Adonix. But who has progressed on this particular occasion? Will we be having a ballad over a bit of lighter, or will it be a battle of Scandinavia in the semi-finals? But without any further ado, winning this final quarterfinal with 66% of the vote. So fairly comfortable. And it was Babadabastu for Sweden, which I'm really happy about, I must admit. But there you go. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, 34% for Greece in the end, and it was just clear as day for Sweden. A lot of you do love it as well as I do, which I'm very thankful of. But yes, it will be a battle of Scandinavia in the second semi-final for that matter, which will certainly be a very interesting occasion. So then, after all is said and done, the semi-final bracket, after all the quarterfinals, looks like this. Malta plays against Austria in the first semi-final, whereas Norway plays Sweden in the second semi-final. I dare say one of them looks more tasty than the other one, but obviously, in terms of how close they are, that is down to you at home. And without any further ado, get voting. And yes, get voting straight away on Eurovision Knockout 2025 for the semi-final stages. It's going to be a tasty one over the next few days. But as always, I would encourage you guys, you know what I mean. Encourage you guys as always to subscribe to my Eurovision YouTube channel. Thank you ever so much indeed. Smash the like button on this video for good measure, and of course, ring the bell to get notified about my latest videos. And catch you again in the next one for the semi-final results. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye.